like, share, subscribe. HCB2 World.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. So listen, I'm sorry for getting this out late, but I've had a crazy week. I've been crazy busy, and honestly, I haven't had too much time to sit down and do videos. But I'm here right now, and I'm definitely ready to get this thing done. So let's talk some Twin Star Exorcists episode 47. Now, this episode starts off just like we thought it would. Starts off with Benio waking up, and at this point, Rokuro is kind of running amok in the city. He's not really destroying stuff. He's more like taking a tour. But at this point, no one knows what it is except Benio. Benio goes out to the living room. She tells the group, hey, that's actually Rokuro, because before she woke up, they thought it was Kagure, but they learned it's Rokuro, and everyone's kind of saddened and shocked to hear that at the same time. Now, after that, things switch over to Tsuchimikado, who at this point, we know he doesn't have any spell power, but fuck, man, he's got to do something. So he's setting up talismans, and it looks like he's trying to set up a barrier or something, but immediately he's stopped by Mikage, who tells him, just quit it, knock it off. There's really nothing you can do at this point. Granted, I understand your position as head exorcist makes you feel like you have to do something, but throwing your life away is stupid, because Cataclysm King has so much energy that even if you did do something, you wouldn't even be able to cause him pause. So at this point, I thought that Tsuchimikado was trying to set up a barrier, but we find out that he was actually about to sacrifice his life just to kind of stop the Cataclysm King. But with the Cataclysm King having so much energy, Mikage is telling him, you're one of the chosen ones. Don't throw away your life on something stupid. And it was kind of sad. Not only that, to prevent him from even trying anything else, Mikage takes the rest of the tags and talismans that he has and kind of destroys them with ease. He just pretty much takes him out of their slide and destroys him. So at this point, Tsuchimikado seems pretty useless. Right after Mikage leaves Tsuchimikado, we get Benio, who shows up, and Tsuchimikado basically tells Benio, hey, we've all been played. This whole time we thought we were doing things, or thought we were doing what we needed to do, but really we've been doing nothing but following the plan that Abe No Seimei had already set in place like thousands of years ago. And that's kind of sad. He had a feeling that something was up, so he tried to fight against it, and he said Rokuro tried to fight against it, but in the end, the plan was so well thought out that nothing they did was going to work. So after he explains that to her, he goes and asks Benio for help, but before he can even finish the sentence, Benio takes off. Now granted, we know how Benio feels about Rokuro, so she feels like she has to do something. So at this point, she enlists the help of Kineko, and they go visit Mikage. Now, as they visit Mikage, we find out that Mikage is actually something called a Shikigami, or in this case, a spirit, or kind of, like an extension of a person, which obviously we know he's an extension of Abe No Seimei. So Benio posed a question to him. She's asking, why are you doing this to Rokuro? Why are you turning him to the Cataclysm King? And Mikage actually kind of finds this funny. He says, if that's what she thinks is strange, what he thinks is strange is even weirder. He thinks it's strange that this thing even has a name. Basically Rokuro was nothing more than part of a plan, but somehow he ended up with a name. He ended up with human emotions. He ended up making other people feel emotions, and basically he ended up being pretty much a human being. He was never supposed to be any of that. He was only supposed to be a tool used to bring back Abe No Seimei. Now, when he says that, we find out that the whole point of the Cataclysm King was to collect the spell power of weak people, and after he collects the spell power of weak people, he's supposed to send it straight to Abe No Seimei to help him resurrect. Now, this part is kind of sad, because as he's collecting the spell power, you find out that no one's pretty much safe, whether you're an old lady, old man, woman, child. I mean, they're even taking the spell power of children. And once those people are robbed of their spell power, they're turned into stone. So at this point, it seems like only the strong people are going to survive. And Benio goes on to tell him, no one's going to be happy about that. Even if you're just leaving behind the strong people, they're still going to hate you. It's at that point that Mikage reveals the true plan to Benio. Now, the whole plan basically is to not only make a world with only strong people, but it's to make a world with no yin energy at all. He tells Benio that in this new world, no one's going to be upset, no one's going to be angry, no one's going to be any of those things, because there's not going to be any yin energy. Without any yin energy, we know that no Kagure can be born, so it's basically going to be a world where everybody can be happy. Now, as he says that, he also tells her that the current strong people from this world who are going to be in the new world, they won't feel negative emotions either, because at some point he's going to take their yin energy and they're just going to be like everybody else. And really, Benio says no one's going to be happy with that. You know, he showed her a glimpse of the world, and to her, she thought it was creepy. Everyone had the same smile, everyone had the same face, and there was really no real human emotion. It was only emotion left by Abe No Seimei, or emotion set up by Abe No Seimei. You know, how can the world be happy where there's no individuality? There's no one being who they actually are, but more like the people they were programmed to be. And, you know, Benio feels like no one can live like that, and that's not the kind of future that anyone wants to see. Even if it's one that logically makes sense, it's not a future that no one would want to be a part of. No one would truly be happy because they'd only be feeling what they've been set up to feel. Now, in terms of the contradictions I was talking about, last episode we learned that yin energy was funneled through the Abe no Mishihara and converted into yang energy. We found out that the yang energy went to the Adashino family, or in this sense, Benio. But what we found out this episode is that it wasn't supposed to be like that at all. We learned that Abe no Seimei is still sleeping in Abe no Mishihara, and while he's been there, he's been collecting his own yin energy. What we find out is that the yang energy was also supposed to be going to him to help his resurrection, but instead it wasn't. At this point, we find out that it wasn't actually meant to go to Benio's family, but it just kind of worked out that way. So, in terms of Abe no Seimei being able to resurrect, two things need to happen. One, he's got to get all the energy that Rokuro's been collecting, which we also find out in this episode that when Rokuro defeated Yuto, he actually took on the energy that Yuto had stolen from the 12 Guardians and from everyone else. So, not only is he supposed to be getting that energy, but he also needs Benio's yang energy. Now, unfortunately, he can't get Benio's yang energy through like a regular way. The only way for him to get Benio's yang energy is through copulation. Now, if you don't know what copulation is, long story short, it's intercourse, alright? So in order for him to get Benio's yang energy, he's got to get it through intercourse. So that part was kind of shocking. Another thing we find out that's shocking is that Mikage is actually a Shikigami, which is in a sense the same thing that Hanako is, but it's kind of a different version of it. A Shikigami is basically like a spirit who's attached to a master, or he's an extension of a master, which of course we know at this point he's the extension of Abe no Seimei. So he's not even really real, he's not even the real Abe no Seimei, but you know, he's an extension of him. He's been the one that's been pulling strings on Abe no Seimei's behalf. What's kind of shocking also is that I didn't pick up on this earlier. I didn't pick up that he might even be Abe no Seimei, because if you look at the opening shows the background behind Mikage changing, which in this point we know is symbolism, and it's showing how he's been alive through all the different ages and all the different periods. Now, obviously, under normal circumstances, Benio wouldn't agree to copulation, but she finds out that if she does it, Abe no Seimei will be able to turn Rokuro back to human. Now, unfortunately, he can turn him back to human, but Benio's told that she'll never be able to meet him again. So at this point, she's kind of conflicted. Obviously, we know how she feels about Rokuro, and we know how Rokuro feels about her, even if they kind of haven't told each other. And when you love somebody, you're kind of willing to do whatever you need to save their life. Now, on Rokuro's point, you know, on Rokuro's side, if she does this, she'll never be able to see him again, but she'll be able to turn him back to human instead of him being a monster. So, you know, even though it seems like it's something she should say no to, because she loves him, it's something that she's really considering. Now, as Benio's kind of weighing her options, she's laying on the floor and she's basically saying out loud, but kind of telling to Rokuro, you know, she always wanted to hear how he really felt about her, and she wanted to be able to tell him from her own mouth how she felt about him. But seems like they're never going to get that chance, no matter what happens, no matter what route she takes. So as the episode ends, she comes to the conclusion that she's going to go the route of pairing up with Abe no Seimei just to bring Rokuro back. As she says that, she starts to tell Hanako something, but you know, the episode kind of goes to an end. Obviously, we know that this isn't an easy decision that Benio came to, but like I said, you know, she loves him. So when you love somebody, you're going to do what you can do to help them, even if it's not always the thing you want to do. So honestly, man, that sucks. On another level, that's pretty gross considering Benio's only 16 and this dude is what, thousands of years old. It's pretty nasty, but you know, I get it. It is what it is, and sometimes you gotta do the thing you really don't want to do. This episode was definitely informative, but for me, it was pretty weird, especially the whole thing about the copulation. Like, that did not sit well with me at all. obviously all of us want Benio and Rokuro to get together, you know. It's no secret. But damn, man, for her to have to bone Abe No Seimei, I don't know if that sits right with me, but it is what it is. Another thing that was weird to me too was the part where he said, you know, Rokuro really wasn't supposed to be one of the Twin Stars. Now, with Benio getting with Abe No Seimei, does that make Abe No Seimei the yin energy of the Twin Stars and together they form the Miko? Or how does that work, you know? Like, where does the Miko come into play? Where does the Twin Star Exorcists come into play? Because at this point, to me, it seems like that's all just been kind of jumbled up and thrown around, and we don't know what's what. From what we've seen from the previews from next episode, no one's going to take this sitting down. It looks like the group are going to try to fight back somehow, whether it's fighting against Rokuro or whether it's trying to take on Mikage. We don't know at this point. We didn't get enough in the next episode previews, but we know there's going to be some kind of fight. So hopefully, you know, they can stop this whole thing between Benio and Abe No Seimei from happening, because it's gross. No one wants to see it, and at the end of the day, we want this thing to end with Benio and Rokuro being together and finally being happy. So hopefully that's what we get. Anyway, guys, I'm sorry for getting this out late, but hopefully you enjoyed the review. If you enjoyed the review, go ahead and smash that like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. There's some cool stuff coming out. I'm doing more with the channel. Hopefully I get a lot more free time because I got some cool ideas I want to do, but it's going to take a little bit of finesse, you know, it's going to take a little bit of craftiness. So hopefully I can get those things done. Other than that, guys, I definitely appreciate you tuning in. As always, I'm your boy, Heroes Come Back 2. Do great, be great. I'll catch you guys later, man. Peace.